Becoming a millionaire, it's a dream for so many of us, right? That feeling of freedom, of security, it's a really powerful idea. But what if I told you that getting to $1 million isn't actually the hardest part of the journey? In fact, it's the easiest. In this explainer, we're going to break down why getting your first 100 grand is the real mountain you have to climb, and how, after that, the path to $1 million gets a whole lot faster.
To really get this, I want to start with a simple choice. It's a little thought experiment that reveals a massive secret about how wealth is really built.
All right, here's the question for you. Which would you pick? Option A, I give you a cool $1 million, tax-free, right here, right now. Or option B, I give you a single penny and it just doubles in value every single day for 30 days. Now, most people, almost everyone, would snatch that $1 million. It seems like a total no-brainer. But let's actually see what happens. Okay, let's fast forward a bit. We're on day 10, we're a third of the way through the month, and our little doubling penny is now worth $5.12. Yeah, not exactly retirement money, is it? The person who took the $1 million is definitely laughing at us right now. All right, let's jump ahead again to day 20. Now, things are getting a little more interesting. Our penny has grown to over $5,000. It's still nowhere near $1 million, but you can kind of start to feel something happening, right? That growth is starting to pick up speed in a way you can actually see. And then, day 30, this is where it gets crazy. That one little penny hasn't just hit $1 million, it's blown past it, landing at over $5.3 million. It actually crushed the $1 million mark way back on day 28. This is the perfect, most powerful example of the slow, kind of boring, and then absolutely explosive power of compounding. So that whole penny thing, it's not just a cool party trick. It's showing you the single most powerful force there is when it comes to building wealth. So let's talk about the engine behind all this, compounding. Here is the magic. It's not just your original money that's working for you. It's the money that your money earns that also starts earning its own money. It really is like a snowball effect. Your money makes babies, and then those babies make babies. And just like that penny or a snowball rolling down a huge hill, the beginning feels, insignificant. It's a slow, tedious grind where it feels like you're getting nowhere. But once it gets big enough, that growth becomes this incredible, unstoppable force that basically does all the heavy lifting for you. Okay, so the doubling penny is a great way to picture it. But let's get real. How does this actually work for a normal person with a normal job? Well, let me introduce you to Bob. His journey to $1 million is going to show you exactly how this plays out in the real world. So check this out. Bob invests $10,000 every single year. And let's say he gets a pretty standard 10% annual return. Look at how long it takes him to hit his first $100,000, a full 8 years. But now look, to get the next $100,000, it only takes him 4 years. And the one after that, just 3 years. You see that acceleration? By the end, around year 26, his money is making $100 grand for him in a single year. And this right here, this is why the beginning feels like such a slog. To get to that first $100K, a whopping 75% of that money came from Bob's own savings, his own hard-earned cash. He had to put in the work, dollar by dollar. Yeah, the growth helped a little, but it was mostly him. But now, look what happens when he hits that $1 million mark. The whole thing has completely flipped on its head. Now, only 25% of that million is from his own contributions. An insane 75%. 3/4 of his entire net worth came from nothing but compound interest. His money is now doing all the work. So this is the big takeaway. The thing I really want you to get. That first $100,000, that's the boss battle. It's a financial fight, sure, but it's also a mental one. You have to be disciplined, you have to be patient, and you have to fight that urge for instant gratification. But once you clear that hurdle, you've built the base. The momentum totally shifts in your favor, and building wealth gets so much easier and so much faster. Okay, so we get the why now, right? We understand why that first 100K is so critical. The real question is, how? How do you actually conquer that first hardest milestone? Let's dive into some real actionable strategies you can use to get there. Look, the quickest way to free up cash to invest is a dead simple budget. Seriously, just 4 steps. First, for 1 month, just track where every single dollar goes. Second, split all that spending into 2 buckets, needs and wants. Third, and this is the important part, you gotta be honest and find places to cut back on those wants. And fourth, all that money you just freed up, it goes straight into your investments.
But here's the thing, cutting your spending can only get you so far, you know? The other side of the coin is earning more money. You can start a side hustle, learn new skills so you can walk into your boss's office and ask for a raise, or even find a whole new career that pays more. The more you earn, the more gas you can pour on that investment fire.
But there's this huge trap you have to watch out for. We call it lifestyle inflation. Let's look at Sally's story. She gets this awesome $15,000 raise. Amazing. But instead of investing it, look what happens. Her spending on wants just expands to eat up all that new income. And the result? She's still got $0 left over to invest. This is the silent killer of so many financial dreams. So how do you make sure you don't end up like Sally? It's this incredibly simple but powerful mental switch. Pay yourself first. What this means is, before you pay rent, before you buy groceries, before you do anything, a chunk of your paycheck goes directly to your investments. Set it up to happen automatically. That way, you're building wealth on autopilot. Now, we've talked about how compounding is this amazing wealth-building machine, but it has an evil twin: high-interest debt. Things like credit card debt, that's compound interest working in reverse. Instead of making you money, it's costing you more and more every single day. Seriously, any debt with an interest rate over 7% is a 5-alarm fire. You have to put it out before you can really start building. All right, we've gone through the numbers, the strategies, the how-to, but honestly, none of that matters without this final, most important piece of the puzzle. This right here is the bedrock of it all. You have to believe deep down that you can actually do this. Because the journey is long, and frankly, the beginning's boring. You're going to see the market crash, you're going to have setbacks. But having that solid belief that you will succeed is what's going to give you the persistence to stick with it, even when it feels like nothing's happening. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Just imagine for a second there was a magic box. For every $1,000 you put in it today, in 40 years, it would give you back somewhere between $10,000 and $25,000. How much money would you try to stuff into that box? Well, that magic box is real. It's called investing for the long term. When you think of it that way, you realize you're not giving up money today. You're trading it for a much, much wealthier future self. The only question left is, how much are you going to put in the box?